Casey, welcome to the Wiretap. How's it been going, my
Hello.
dude?
It's going, man. I'm living life. I'm still breathing. How
Hmm.
about you?
I'm existing. I'm existing. I feel
I
ya.
feel.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going through life, especially lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
Oh man.
in four days from now I get my second shot, so that should be fun.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah, that's gonna. Thank God I have the next day off. I was really scared my job was just gonna be like look at my request and be like, no.
Like, you're not one of those that needs to live. Hold on. We've
Yeah,
got someone else.
like just oh, I've heard the second shot's bad, but you can go through it on a load night and just kind of fucking deal with it while taking freight onto the floor. You're fine. It's just like no, please help.
They'll just attach some like wires to you, just have you keep working. And you're just
Like a fucking marionette puppet, just like no, no, Tucker, use your grip, pick the box up. I'm just like,
I said 50 pounds. 50 pounds, Tucker, drive it.
holy fuck. That would be some shit my job would do too. You're like, you can suffer through it, right?
Oh man.
My
Yeah, I think my second shot is coming up 2 or 3 weeks. I originally was supposed to get it like back in April. One of my buddies actually scheduled it out for me,
oh, nice.
and it hit like 11:30 o'clock, and I was like, yeah, I was supposed to get a shot 12 hours ago.
Just
See if I could do it tomorrow. See.
oh god, I did I oh god one of the most like I felt so bad about this, and to King Zab, if you're watching, once again, I'm so sorry about this. I had an issue like that because I work overnight, so sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I oversleep by a lot. Today I woke up like on time. I just felt shitty, so I was like, "Hey, Casey, can we start a bit late?" but like, I was supposed to help Zab with a like content shoot for Scythe Gang. Not like a music video or anything, but just like, some other thing they were doing. And he was like, "Yo, can you come by at like 5 at this place?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got you." And then the next day I fucking woke up at like 7. And I was like, "Oh my fucking god, my phone died in the middle of the night. No. No." And
uh,
I like rapidly texted him like, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And he was just like, "No, you're fine. It happens, man." And I was just like, "No, I'm so sorry." Just like,
see, see, I have the opposite effect where I dream that I've missed my alarm about 5 times in my dreams, and then I wake up 3 hours early,
oh yeah. See
and
that
I'm like,
just that that only happens to me one every now and again where like I just fucking sleep right the fuck through it. Normally I wake up like 5 minutes before my first alarm goes off. But like
mhm,
if that, sometimes I just wake up to the first alarm because I set like 5 because I'm so paranoid about missing it. But like
oh,
nothing makes me feel fucking worse than missing something for like a shoot. That fucking like the rest of the day I'll just have you ever seen BoJack Horseman?
I think I've seen like an episode or two.
Okay, there's an episode that like you hear his inner monologue, his inner dialogue, and he just calls himself a stupid piece of shit the entire episode. And that it felt like it always feels like that, where I'm just like, I should make some food. You don't deserve food, you stupid piece of shit. You were late to the fucking shoot, and I'm like, Jesus, me, fuck, come on, man.
It's
You're
like it's like I've been thinking about like losing weight and stuff. I'm just like man, I would really love to get a second meal at Chick-fil-A today. And then I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, look at yourself. Look in the mirror. Look at this doughy boy right here. You think you need another Chick-fil-A? And I'm like, yeah, just you are right.
God, I feel that recently. I shit my body weight out of myself by eating Jack in the Box, and that was a fucking mistake. I shit. I had to shit like 5 times within like 5 hours. I was just like, the end of it, I was like, please, no more, please.
Get to that point where you're just like glued to the toilet seat. And you're just like, this is where I live.
This
I,
is
I
where
live here now.
this is where I live now. Oh God, it's like one of my favorite things. If you want to have like the most chaotic night ever, go drinking with a bunch of like punks, with a bunch of punk kids. It's the most chaotic shit you will ever experience in your life, and like, oh God, it's so good. It's so fun. If you're like in the right mood for it, it's so fun. If you're not, you're having a horrible time because they don't give a
Oh
shit that
yeah.
you're having a horrible time. They'll just keep going. One of my favorite moments like that is I was in Seattle and I was like drinking with a bunch of like punk friends and they were like drunk as shit. It was like the middle of the night in the middle of like, I think we were like over kind of by where Studio 7 used to be. And
Right, right.
and they were, well, two of them were getting into a fight and I was trying to break them up because I was sober at the time. I was like babysitting all these fuckers and I was just like, no, you sit down on that side of the street, you sit down on that side of the street, and then come up with what you're gonna say to each other to fucking fix this shit. Because stop, don't get into a fist fight at 2 a.m. when cops are prowling for drunks. And I sit them both down. I turn around to go deal with somebody who's like a little sick. And I just hear like someone get punched in the face, and I'm like, God fucking damn it!
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna kill you both.
I had a similar experience, so I don't really drink a whole lot just because not my I don't really like alcohol
That's fair.
a whole lot, so I always end up playing mom whenever I'm hanging out with people,
Yep.
and I remember me and some coworkers went out to Tacoma late at night, and they wanted to do a bunch of the lime scooters and all
Oh
this.
yeah.
And so they get on these. They're already gone. Like they've had way too much Malibu, and they are shooting down the road towards Ruston Way at like 30 miles an hour on these scooters.
Oh God.
And like I just remember I had to like try to keep up with them, and I was like there was a train at one point. One of them was like trying to touch the train, and I'm like stop, please. I'm like I thought I was just gonna have to start swinging on kids just to get them to corral them back into the car.
Just knock them out so they'll sit the fuck down for 10 seconds.
I was just like what is happening? I felt like like those I can't think of the word of it. What's like the man in like a story where everything around him is going crazy and he's just kind of sitting there just like
Oh yeah.
the straight man.
The straight man. Yeah, exactly. The straight man. Yeah.
I was just sitting there just watching chaos happen around me like okay.
My favorite story of me getting drunk. So I don't get drunk too often because I got shit to do, sadly. And in my relationship, I'm the only one who can drive. So I'm like, no. If someone has to go to the hospital, if I'm drunk, it's fucked. So, but when I either on holidays or when I go on vacation, I get fucking trashed because I never really get drunk at home often. So it was Halloween, and one of my old friends always throws a Halloween party at her place. So I was gonna go with a couple of my friends, and we are just gonna go get drunk and have a kind of chill night. It was like I think there was like probably gonna be like 7 to 10 people there, not like a big thing. So we're just like, we'll just kind of get drunk, hang out, probably watch something really bad on TV and then make fun of it, and then pass out, casual. Well, we get there, and one of my friends brings like a fifth of Captain Morgan's, and he's like, you two, pointing to me, my friend, and he's like, you two are gonna like go shot for shot with me. And I was like, no, I'm not. But okay, I'll go as far as I can go without making myself puke, and I'll like get into the pocket, and I'll just be like, I'll just chill there for the rest of the night. That'll be fun. So I get through like half of this bottle of Morgan's, and then my friend gets like I get to that point, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I cut myself off. I'm like, no, you win. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go walk around. And my friend keeps going, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, oh, I feel a little sick 'cause I haven't really eaten much today. I'm gonna go sit behind her shed, and I'm gonna stare at the tree line for like 10 minutes and just kind of like sit for a bit. and get some fresh air away from people. So I go and do that, and I'm like staring at this tree line for a while, just staring at these stars. I'm like, oh, this is pretty. This is cool. I like this.
Yeah.
I think it's been like max 10 minutes. I get up to go back, and my friend, suddenly everything has exploded at this party. Everybody's like way too drunk and like dying, and so my friend, who was the one who brought the Morgans, had, while I was gone, like dressed up in drag and was running around in high heels, like trying to feed everyone water and bread. So you just hear like clop 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 clop. Do you need food? Do you need water? Okay, clop 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 clop. And you just hear him like running around. But I like walk back, and he's like, where the fuck were you? You've been gone for like 45 minutes. I'm like, huh? I feel like it's been 10 minutes, and he's like, no man, you've been gone for like 40 minutes. Where the fuck were you? And I was like, over there behind the shed staring at pretty trees. It's like, oh, you're fucking, he was like, oh, you're fucking drunk. All right, you sit down. I was like, okay. He looked like the compressed version of Master Chief, just like, I threw up. Just like sitting there like
kid walking into his parents' bedroom at like 2 a.m.
I threw up.
Man. I threw up.
I threw up. I had a nightmare. Please help me. Yeah,
we had a similar story to that when James Chapel,
my fucking boy,
his bachelor party. I remember we had like a whole day and everything, and we went to Trapper's Sushi up in Kent Station.
Oh yeah. I know exactly where that is.
And I remember me and James, we were too young to drink, so we were just sitting chilling, and a couple of them went to the bar, and one of our buddies, like not even 5 minutes after they go to the bar, runs past us at the door, and he's like, I'm not drunk, I swear, and he runs outside.
Oh no. Oh no.
We don't see that dude for like an hour and a half. And we're just like we started running around Kent Station. We're like yelling for him, we're looking for him, and we're like, where could this dude be? Eventually he comes in, and we're already like halfway through our meals. Like we've eaten like a full roll of sushi at this point.
Yeah.
He comes in, he's like, hey guys, what's up? And we're like, bro, where did you go? You've been gone for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. He's like, I was at Jamba Juice using the bathroom, and I just like, he's like, I kind of dozed off for like 5 minutes, and then I came back.
That is the most drunk activity, by the way, is dozing off in the toilet, man. That is the most like, that is like when you should be like, oh, I'm fucking drunk. I fell asleep on the toilet. I'm fucking drunk.
We're just like he's adamantly, even to this day, is like, no, I was only gone for like 10 minutes.
Oh no.
We're like, bro, there's no way, dude, no way.
There's no way. Yeah, no. God, there's so many good drunk stories. Another one of my favorites was my brother lives in Idaho, and we go visit him every now and again because he kind of fucking hates Idaho because there's like nothing. And plus, he's like a Seattle-born kid, so like anybody who comes in with like even slightly more centered views than him, he's like, I miss Seattle. so he's just like, I want. So we go and visit him, and whenever we go, I mean, me and him are both like punks, so we just get drunk and we just get fucked up. And so we went over one time, and we get really drunk. And the reason why we went over there was because something like kind of traumatic happened, and so we're like, oh, we should go like see him and make sure he's good and stuff, and kind of hang out with him because I miss him and I also want to make sure he's okay. So me and a bunch of our friends road tripped over to Idaho, and when we got there, we found a bunch of shit that was still like there of his. Or not of his old roommates or some shit, and we found this big old dildo. So for the rest of the fucking trip, we just like would take the dildo and just like hide it in places on like walls where we weren't like paying attention. Our favorite hiding spot was on the inside of the bathroom door, because we'd swing it open and close it, and then when we turn around to leave, it would just be like fucking eye level pointing at you. One of my favorite. Well, my friend took a selfie. Oh God, I don't think I have it anymore. But he took a selfie of himself, like with it like hanging onto his shoulder, and him like staring at it really
Oh
uncomfortably. It's like my favorite picture ever. I wish I still had it. Oh my God,
no.
there's so many good stories from those trips that are like, oh God, they're so good. Because whenever we go to Idaho, it's just like, okay, it's a small friends thing, but like we've known each other for years, so it's just like we're just gonna fucking pick up like nothing happened and get drunk and hang out and have good times, and it's great. If
That's
only
the
I
best.
if only I liked Idaho, I'd probably move there for him.
Yeah, it's like Idaho. We have potatoes, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And like like and not only that, but like everybody from Washington and California is like moving to Idaho because it's close and cheap as fuck in comparison. So like
Oh,
all the people who are like from Idaho fucking hates anybody from the coast now. Like they had like a slight disdain for them like before, but now they just fucking hate them. Like anytime I walk in, I have to show my ID to someone who's from Idaho for like buying liquor or something. They look at me like, "You fucking little fucking Washingtonian pussy." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm just here on a road trip. I'm not. What the fuck? Like, I don't know what to tell you, bud. Like, just where I was born."
oh man, that makes me think of Alaska. Actually, because we went to last year during COVID. A couple of buddies got married over in Alaska,
Mm.
so we went over to Alaska for the wedding and everything. And we
Beautiful
went to a
place to get
place called,
married too.
oh dude, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Alaska is such a cool place, but like the people there, they're crazy. They do not want to talk to anyone. Like if they don't know you and you ask them a question and they'll just literally look at you and just walk away. They do not care.
Oh God. I mean, that kind of makes sense though. If you're out in the middle of like buttfuck nowhere in comparison, like, yeah, I'd probably be like,
Yeah.
why the fuck are you here? Like, like I've lived in like one or two like small town. By the way, small town in comparison to Washington, so like a normal city for most places. But like even then, like if someone's like, "Hey, I'm not from here. How do I get to this place here?" I'm like, "Why the fuck are you here?" Then like, what the fuck? I actually have a buddy who grew up in on Alaska. It's like super South Washington. It's like a town of like fucking probably like less than 1,000 people. And
Okay.
he was like, yeah, man, all there is to do out there is get high on hallucinogens in the forest and work on cars. So that's all I did. That's why I'm a good mechanic. I'm like, bro, wait, hold on. Pause. Pause.
I hope that's like their main exports in that town. Just like, yeah, we got cars, we got hallucinogens. What else you need?
We got cars and we got good shrooms. Come through. God, yeah, it's so fucking funny. The small town life, and it's also really funny because I recently just went to Montana for the first time, like ever, and it's so weird being from like Washington and only really being in like the coast like kind of states to like suddenly
Right.
going to like a middle of nowhere kind of state, like a middle America state, and just being able to
Yeah.
see for miles. That like really fucking broke a spring in my brain because I'm so used to like
Yeah.
being just looking me like, oh look, a tree line, or like, oh look, a mountain or whatever. And but like when I would look to the left and be like, fear fields for like 4 miles, that's fear.
Yeah. That's kind of how Mississippi is, because
mm,
you enter the state line and you can see the other end of the state line as soon as you know. You're just like,
Holy shit.
you're like, all right, we've seen all we need to see.
My one of my friends actually, Kyle, who has been on this podcast, Loki Panda, he when he moved away and was coming back to Washington but didn't want to pay for like transport, so one of our buddies was a truck driver at the time, so he just hopped on his truck and just kind of drove around America while he delivered orders until they got one in Washington so he could get dropped
Oh,
off.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now though he has like strong opinions about most states because he's driven through a lot of them, and he's like,
Okay.
um, one of my favorite ones is he's like, man, after being in Texas, I kind of get what people say about Texas, because like, yeah, it's hot as shit, it's like the devil's asshole, but like also in Walmart, they have like a 6 pack of cinnamon rolls that are like this fucking big, like size of your face for like $4. I want to move there now. I don't care if I melt. I want to move there now. I want that option in my life. It's like,
yeah. Dude, when I lived in Alabama, I haven't checked in a couple of years, but last time I was there, they still have like supersize me like
oh
McDonald's.
really?
Like they still have like the huge like styrofoam cups and like
Oh
the extra
shit,
size fries and everything.
that's insane. Dude,
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like I'm in the Super Size Me documentary whenever I go to Jack in the Box. Go, the proportions are insane.
yeah, it's like the larges here are basically a medium down there.
Holy shit! Yeah, I think all the I've only traveled in a couple
Hello?
states. Hello?
I did disconnected.
Oh, are you there?
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool, cool, cool,
There,
cool.
there we are. There we are.
There we go. All right, cool. Yeah, I've only really traveled in like a couple of states. I think I've been to like Washington, obviously, and then Oregon, California, Idaho, Montana, and Florida. I think those are all the states I've been to
Okay. Okay.
ever.
Yeah, I've I want to go. I want to say I've been to more to the middle, but I've only been to like Washington, California, and then like Texas over basically.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Tex- Texas up to Virginia
yeah. Okay, yeah,
is
yeah.
southern states. When you start driving through them, they're only like I think a trip from North Carolina to Alabama is like 13 hours, and that's
Yeah.
like 4 states basically.
Yeah, no, I've like looking at a map. It looks interesting. Well, also it makes sense though because there's less like I would assume there's like less like big stopping points for like traffic and shit in those
Hmm.
states because it's like they have like a couple big cities and then like it's a lot of smaller towns, so you can just kind of go. I
Yeah,
feel like I mean I've never been there, so I guess I don't know, but like that's in my brain what makes sense to me.
it's really strange because where I live, you would never see like a traffic jam unless it was just like someone like died and they're blocking the road or like something crazy happens. But
Yeah.
like we're only about an hour and a half away from Atlanta. And you hit Atlanta, and then they legit have 9 lanes of traffic, and they're all filled to the brim with cars.
Oh God.
It's like whiplash because you're just like driving, going like 80 miles an hour, just and then all of a sudden just
Just
stop, just
oh
dead
God.
stop.
Oh God, I had in Montana. It was kind of similar because there was like we were going to this place outside of Kalispell, and we, it was like this 2 lane highway in the middle of like literally nowhere. The closest town was probably like 20 miles in both directions, maybe, and they were both like pretty small towns. But so we're driving like 80. We're going through this place, absolutely beautiful scenery because there's nothing around, so it's just pure like a couple fields and then like maybe a farmer's field and then like some mountains to my
Yeah.
right. Like it's absolutely beautiful. And I would look up ahead and I would see this car like slowing down and turn their blinker on because their like house is like their driveway's to the right, but it's like a highway. So suddenly, like going at like 80, I have to slow down to like going 10, super fast because I'm like, oh fuck, they're turning. And like after driving in Montana, I'm like, you know what, Washington drivers may be fucking idiots, but at least they don't do. At least they're not put in that situation. So I kind of prefer them. Washington
Yeah,
drivers are like reckless, but they're not like I'm gonna slow down to 10 miles an hour on this 80-mile-an-hour freeway. It's like, oh god, fuck.
yeah. It's almost like driving an autobahn because like there's speed limits, but people just go like 100 miles an
Oh
hour in
yeah.
their 91 Ford pickup.
Yeah, no, there was a speed limit of like 60, but nobody went. If you were going 60, you're getting passed like immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh
nobody
yeah.
gave a shit. When I got into the state, I was like, we are driving through a town, and I was like, okay, speed limit's 35. I'm gonna just go 35. We're in this like, we also got passed often because we were in my friend's like mom van that he has because we were going to Montana for a road trip. So we wanted the
Yeah, yeah.
big space. It's we got passed anyways, even if we're going like 20 over, just in by the sheer virtue of driving a minivan. But like we were going through, and I was like, oh, okay, it's 35. I'm gonna go 35, and it's gonna be fine. And I started going 35. And I'm getting like passed in this town road. Like people are going into the opposite lane to go around us in like a town. And I was like, oh, okay, nobody here gives a fuck about speed limits. Cool, I'm right at home. It was cool being in Montana. We had a running joke where we would just look up into the sky and be like, huh, big sky. Big sky.
It's like, they don't have this in Washington.
Yeah, you know,
what is this thing?
What is this big blue thing here? I'm used to seeing clouds.
Wait, hold on. The night's going off, and there's night lights in the sky. Hold on.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, I'm used to only seeing one, and it's the moon. Dude, it was so fucking funny because we're in this cabin in like the middle of nowhere, and we walk in. They give us the like pamphlet of like, oh, here's our restaurants near us, whatever, and like we walk in, they're like, we have Bear Mace available for you if you're going on a hike. It works on the honor system, so just bring it back and we're all good. And I'm like, holy shit, we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Hell yes.
Yeah, I remember gas stations would sell like they would sell like big hunting knives, or they would have like the mini crossbow sets.
Oh
You
yeah.
can have like the little like crossbow pistols.
Oh, that's so sick.
For whatever reason, I don't
For
know why
anything.
you give Southern kids crossbow pistols. They've all seen Van Helsing. They're just going to do that.
That's true. God, I want like 10 though. Oh god, that's so sick though. So let's switch gears really quickly into music. 26 minutes into this music podcast. What? So I know Fulton Incarnate, I know, is a proggy kind of band. What made you? Because I also know your last project, as Pillars Fall, was like more of a metalcore project. What like really like grabbed you about like prog rock in comparison to metalcore? Like kind of the difference between the two that like really sticks out to you.
It was kind of just a change of style in music because, well, I was in As Pillars Fall and I did a lot of like hardcore, and I mean, really, my hardcore phase kind of began when I was like 12. That was when kids, like seniors from my high school, would take me to Christian metal shows, and we
Oh
talked
hell
about
yeah!
Under Oath, and
Oh hell yeah!
I'd get my ass whooped at shows and whatnot. But when I got up here, I was like really into grunge and all that, and I was like, yeah, Nirvana, Foo Fighters,
Hell yeah!
and we started doing As Pillars Fall, and I started getting into like a lot of like Coheed, Rush, that kind of stuff, and I just took like a really deep dive on the prog end, and I really liked kind of like I was like all about concept albums, all about time signatures,
Oh yeah!
different genres and everything. And so it just kind of influenced it, and it was just kind of the road I wanted to go with, and yeah, I just really fell in love with it.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely suits you well as well. And also I will say though that I miss seeing like, even it's because of the pandemic, I miss seeing you at shows because I miss the Hawaiian shirt and the flip flops at a fucking hardcore show. I miss that. It's like one of my favorite things is when we would go like we're up to a show, I'd see you and you'd just be like, yeah man, we're gonna go see Knocked Loose, it'll be a fun time, wearing the flip flops, wearing the Hawaiian shirt. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I show up looking like I'm straight out of like Real Big Fish or something, and then get up there and we're going like, all right, I want to see everyone in the picture.
It's like my favorite thing, dude. Oh, so good. And like, yeah, no, Fulton's really fucking cool though, because we don't have a lot of like, at least as far as I know, I may just be ignorant to it, but we don't have a lot of like proggy sort of bands around here that's not like straight metal. You know, we have some like proggy metal like projects, but not really like a prog rock sort of scene here. So it's really cool to see that sort of that kind of be here in a way. because like we have a lot of metalcore here, like a lot of fucking
Yeah,
metalcore. So
yeah,
like we have metalcore for fucking years, but we don't have a lot of like rock in general, honestly, unless it's like kind of pop punk stuff or dad rock. Those are kind of the two like flavors we have here for rock. So it's cool to see like prog rock kind of exist.
yeah. I've seen some bands come and go, and just like a lot of like rock bands that come here in Seattle. They'll be big for a bit and whatnot, and then they're like, yeah, we're just kind of moving on, doing our own little thing. So
Yeah.
it's it's just yeah, it's just fun doing like a different kind of style, and just the group we have with Fulton, everyone's so open to like, yeah, let's throw in like a disco beat on this one. Ooh, let's do that, but with some gallops underneath it,
Oh
and like
hell yeah.
let's do this in like drop D, or sometimes we'll talk about, what if we just go straight like double D, or just drop G, let's bring it down there.
Let's just fucking go low. Like
Yeah,
that's so sick though.
let's just take it home.
That's so
Yeah.
sick though, because I feel like Washington's an interesting place because especially if you go to like music shows here, we're all into like weird music, but none of us really play super weird music that often. Like a lot of the bands here aren't really that experimental in sense, like in the metal scene at least. And so it I love like that's why I was such like big like supporters of Prying Free because they were like really weird and experimental. So I was just like, yes, Kings, go on, Kings,
Yes.
and so that's why like I love just like people just being like, oh, you know what, fuck it, let's just fuck around with some feedback, get some weird fucking chord progressions in there, and let's just fucking be weird and do like a fucking 4/3 time signature and hate our lives. Let's just do
Yeah,
that and
yeah.
see how weird we can get it. And I'm like, yes, Kings, go.
There was a band that came up. I'd have to ask James. 'Cause I remember we saw them, and they were like, they presented themselves. They played like three songs, and it was like normal metalcore, and everyone's like, okay, yeah. And then like the rest of their set was all in like 5/4, and
Oh shit.
like all these like crazy time signatures, and they were like Sean meets metal and all this,
Oh, that's
and
sick.
we are just like, wow, where did this come from? All right.
Yeah, guys, drop the metal chord. This is way sicker. This is way sicker.
I like the idea though. They come in just to like trick people. They're like, oh, okay, we're just a metalcore band, and then
That is so sick though, and that's why. Speaking of James, is also why I love Vacuous because they're kind of fucking. They're weird and wild with it too. Like they're so super fucking sick as well. That I've seen them, I think twice. I wanna say before the pandemic, was able to see them twice, and like both times were just so sick. They have a great live energy. They're like
mm-hmm.
they're for Washington standards. They're really experimental for Washington standards, and they're pretty experimental for like just general metal like, standards. They get kind of wacky with shit, and I don't know. They have a good sound. I really like them.
I like a lot of their stuff too. They're very tight, and because I remember what was the band before Vacuous that Mitch had? Was it
Oh, fuck.
uh
My brain's
Tree
going blank.
something
Yeah.
on the
Fuck.
Woods, Beyond
S-
Woods or something like Beyond the
Yeah.
Woods?
Something like that. Something like that. God, I'm drawing a blank. I've seen them before. Fuck. I think I saw them at Louis G's or some shit. Fuck. I'm
Yeah,
forgetting.
but just having that, and I mean James, he can. If there's one thing I love about James is he can make whatever he's doing, he can make it work.
Oh,
So
100%.
he knows how to just add himself into stuff, and like how to just kind of elevate it as much as he can.
Yeah.
And so just Vacuous, it's just like a perfect storm, basically.
Yeah,
I
100%.
love watching them play live and all that
Not only
stuff.
that, but James has like just a sick fucking voice. Just
Yeah.
oh god, he has such a sick voice. But yeah, no, like so another thing I wanted to ask you because it's like because you guys are doing proggy stuff. Do you have like kind of a concept album dream in your head? You don't have to tell me about it. I just want to know. Like, do you kind of have like a concept album story in your head that you're kind of building?
Yeah. I pretty much I have I that's kind of where it all starts is I think of like a whole story idea in my head and whatnot, and like even as we're doing this album I'm like, okay, this story is going to be about 3 albums long, and they're all going to go in this direction and have this type of sound and everything
Yeah.
as I go into them.
Like I'm not, except for like kind of the godfathers of prog, I'm not into like modern prog really. I just don't have, I'm not like just aware of it. I haven't found anything that really grips me like Rush does, and like, you know, all the godfathers of prog. But like
Right.
that's the coolest thing to me about prog is that they're, because I love concept albums. Concept albums are so fucking sick, and I wish more music would like just kind of embrace that idea of just like a story that spans albums. I play D&D, so I'm all about long-winded stories. Like I play a fucking shitload of D&D, so that's why I love prog albums, because I'm like, oh, it's like I'm fucking listening to a D&D session. Let's go. Like it's so sick. So it's like I wish more music would just kind of like embrace that idea of like listen, I love angry metalcore, I love angry deathcore, you know, I'm all for the fucking like you cheated on me, you bitch, blech, like kind of shit. But like I love stories that are just like not about you. Like anytime, like any of my projects, if any of the people who are going to be watching this heard any of my old music, none of it was about anything that I ever went through, except for one song. I wrote one song about like something from my personal life. Everything else was a story from that I came up with in my brain. Like I love like non-personal kind of like lyrics that you make from a story. It makes I love that, because it like not many bands are willing or like really do that, I feel like. So like
Yeah.
I really like that sort of that change up in a sense, you know.
Yeah. It's a lot more fun process, at least for me, because I'm the type where if I write my personal stuff, like it always comes out like I look at it, I'm just like, oh, this is really cringy. I don't want to put this out there. This,
Right. I feel you.
so when it's told through like a character or through a story or just kind of in a different way, uh, I feel I speak better through that than I do actually just speaking whatever is on my mind.
I feel you. I'm the same way. Like the only song I ever wrote that was about like me personally was I wrote a song about a girl who cheated on me, and that was it. And even that I was like I wrote it for like a month. I kept going back to lyrics and like revising it to make it a little bit less cringe and a little bit less generic, and I kept going back and back. And even at the very end I'm like, man, this is still like kind of cringe. Like I'm like in the recording booth like, man, this is still kind of fucking cringe. God damn it.
Oh man, if I had time to pull up like my grunge songs that I wrote when I was 15
Oh boy.
and just oh god.
Man, I wish I
Oh,
had
God.
a notebook that was full of all my poems from when I was like 16. Fuck, I wish I still had
Mhm.
that thing just to look and be like, man, I've come a decent distance.
It's like you talking about the government and you don't know what the government is. Please calm down.
Exactly. It's like, man, it's like I run a Cyberpunk Red campaign. It's a tabletop version of Cyberpunk, and it's really a good system. But I run a game with it with a bunch of my friends from like high school and stuff, and one of the people he was playing a netrunner who was Russian. He was, or no, Slovakian or some shit like that, some Eastern Bloc country, and he was like, I want him to be like a third generation immigrant to America and still hold the ideals of communism, because in the cyberpunk world, the USSR never fell, so the communism is still very alive in the Eastern Bloc countries in that universe. So he's like, I want me to be like really into communism, but have absolutely no fucking idea what the actual like properties of a communist country is. So I just want to be like him to be like, yes, communism, and then have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. I was like, okay, that's gonna be interesting. Okay, cool.
It's like, yes, my side won. We've done it.
Exactly, we've done it. And like it's so funny because he'll just commit petty crimes by going on the net and like hacking into like the garden, which is their like social media, and just like blasting it on everyone's like feed, just like communism is the way, here are the policies of a communist country, and then like none of them are correct. Like none of them are like even remotely communistic, and it's so funny. He puts on like a fake accent too. He doesn't have an accent 'cause he's a third generation immigrant, but like he's like it connects you with my heritage to have this. I'm like, bro, this is so fucking good.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's so It was so fucking funny. I was like, this is the funniest character I've ever seen, and I love him. The only character I feel like is funnier is my one of my other friends made a character who was an elf in a Pathfinder world, so a normal like fantasy D&D world, and he was like, I'm gonna worship the dwarven god. I'm gonna take stonemasonry. And I'm gonna do basically everything a dwarf does. I'm even gonna have shitty like Rosetta Stone esque like dwarvish as a language, and I'm just gonna be like a weeaboo but for dwarfs. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a dwarven name, and I'm just going to hate myself for being an elf. And I'm just like, oh, this is so funny. This is so funny. I love this.
Yeah, I think one of my buddies told me a campaign where he had someone who kept convincing everyone he was a horse, and so everyone everyone would talk to him, and he's like, "I'm a horse," and he would just neigh, and he would convince them that he was a horse, so they couldn't do anything.
Oh, that's so good. That's so amazing. One of my favorite like stories ever from that series from the cyberpunk game we were running was there were like two of the members of our group was in a band together, and so they were going to a show, but before they realized that like they forgot to promote the show at all. And so they were like, okay, we have to promote the show really fast day of. How do we do this? Okay, we have a netrunner on our side. We go to a net access point and we blast it to every fucking screen in the city. That's what we do. Big fucking brain. And so we like they went to this like abandoned building with a net access point in it. They walk through this building, they enter the door, and then a sensor goes off and an alarm goes off, and they're like, fuck it, and they run. And then like as they're driving away, like the net watch like fly in and they're like storming the building. They're like, man, we're not gonna have anyone at this show, are we? And I was just like, me as the DM, I was like, no, you're not, because I was in a local band. You suffer as I suffered. They play the show to like 3 people in the bands. Let's go.
Yes, yes. We sold 50 pre-sales, and 3 people showed up.
Dude, that was my fucking life. That's why like I want to play music again. I miss being like a vocalist. I miss flexing that like creative muscle. But God, I never want to sell fucking pre-sales ever again.
No, no. I hated doing pre-sales. A lot of times, like, sounds it's a little bit cheating, but I would just give people tickets, and I'm like, look, I'll pay for it. I just want you to come to the
Oh,
show.
dude,
Like,
I did the same thing. Everybody does it.
just come here.
Did you
Like,
guys ever do the cringiest thing? But everyone does it as a band. Everyone's done it at least once. Maybe not for the project they're in now, but everyone's done it at least once.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
they set up the Facebook event or whatever event, and a bunch of people like say they're interested, but don't say they've joined. They're coming yet. So you message them, and you're like, "Hey, I got pre-sales. Do you want to come to my show?"
yeah. Oh no, I can't say I personally have ever done that, but
You're a better
I
man than I, because I have done that.
I can't say that anyone in our band has not done that, so I'm not gonna speak for them.
Dude, I have had people that like I am now friends with that I opened up our conversation for the first time to like either for them to come on my podcast or for us to hang out or whatever, or like some kind of thing. And I open up
Yeah,
our Facebook message and I see a message from like 4 or 5 years ago. They're like, "Hey, we're playing this show with these bands." I'm like, "Oh fuck, no, don't, no, 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 no." It's like that keeps me
I
up.
remember seeing a show in Georgia when I was like when I was like 12, and the local band that was opening for Gideon and a Plea for Purging
Ooh.
showed up, and he was out there. People were waiting in line to buy tickets at the stand, and he was like, I got pre-sales. Please buy from me. I got pre-sales for you. And
Oh
we're just like,
man.
all right, whatever. I'm just giving him money.
Dude, there's nothing quite like being on a ticket grind as a band. You will do some shit that you would never do for anything else.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you'll drive 2 hours up north just to deliver tickets
oh
to someone.
fuck. Oh god, it was so bad for me because I was the only one in my band for a while that could drive at the time.
Oh, man.
And so there were like Kevin and like me and Reggie, we'd be like, oh yeah, I got like two people over in this city who want something. Like, okay, I got two people like kind of in the similar direction. And Reggie'd be like, oh, I got someone down south. And I'm like, oh fuck my ass. All right, we can do this. We can make this fucking work. We'll just be in the car for like 4 hours. And so we would just go and do. Oh god, it was so bad. It was such a nightmare.
You turn into the Amazon delivery pad service.
Dude, I wish we just have like the Amazon drones just like drop off a pre-sale.
Sitting in the air, it just loses the ticket as soon as it gets up there. It's like, oh,
Oh yeah.
oh no.
So yeah, no, like pre-sale. Oh god, like that's why I want to be in like a punk band or a folk punk band, and just so I can be like, okay, we're only playing house shows. Go fuck yourself. We're not doing pre-sales because we're playing house shows.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I want to play metal because that's what my voice is most suited for. But like,
Hmm.
fuck, I really don't want to play for venues where like, can you sell 50 pre? No, 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 I can't. I can, but I won't. I can
Yeah,
do it.
that's why we always like doing like real art and like Tacoma shows
Oh
because
yeah,
never had pre-sales. It was always so nice. You just show up, unload, go to town.
dude, the real art's so sick. I love the real art. Like the one of my favorite experiences at the real art was my old band in a visceral embodiment, sadly, and we were playing this show that we had no fucking business being on. It was Dismembering Mary's EP release show, and it was like all deathcore and metalcore, and then our shitty
I was
like,
there.
oh, you were there? Okay, fuck yeah.
I was there. I
Oh
was
yeah,
there.
yeah. It was all of them, and then our like shitty mellow death band.
Hey, I love Visceral Embodiment. That
Uh,
band's awesome.
oh man, like my friends still come up to me and go like, "Oh, you were the guy from Visceral Embodiment, weren't you?" And I'm like, "Oh, go fuck yourself. Now you got me. I was having a good day. Now I'm not." it, and we were on stage though. We were like 4 songs into our 5-song set, and I turn around and our drummer's like looking at me like panickingly, like he's like seeing death in his eyes, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you on about? Just play the fucking song, dude." And so we start playing, and every time I turn around, he's like trying to tell me something with his eyes, but I don't know what the fuck he's trying to tell me. And I'm like, what are you on about? Your cymbals are all on. Nothing's cracked. All your drums are like still standing. Your bass drum's not moving forward. Like, I don't know what the fuck you want from me, guy. And so I just keep playing. And then we were 3 songs in, and we finished our 4th song, and then he says to me like, "Yo, the drum amp is like." It like is weird color, and I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? So I like look at the drum amp, and motherfucker's on fire. The inside of the drum amp caught on fire. It's so I'm like, oh fuck. So I put up the mic in my face. I'm like, hey, so the drum amp is on fire, and I just hear the sound guy through the back just go, God fucking damn it. And then like I just see like a flashlight like just shaking through a crowd. He's like fast walking to the stage. I'm like, oh man. Oh no. I'm just like on stage like, so how's everyone else's night band? We're so bad our amp caught fire, so that's pretty cool.
Hey, if anything, that means you're the most hardcore.
True. It was like we had no fucking business being on that show. I don't know why the fuck we got put on that show. It was like us, Sinners and Saviors, Dismembering Mary, I think Vultures above us, and like some other band or something. I think that was the lineup. It was like fucking 6 years ago or something though, so I can't quite
Yeah,
remember. But like it was all like deathcore and like metalcore. It was just like there was nothing remotely like bridging the gap to like death metal, but we were just like, yeah, we'll play the show. Like,
yeah.
we got 0 fans from that show at all. Like people were just like looking at us like, So when is your set done? Like, can you come on? if
That's how I felt. That's how I felt with Fulton's first show. Was I think it was rap versus rock. So it was
Oh
like
man, those
rap.
shows.
It was like rap group, rock band, rap group, rock band, rap group, rock band. And I remember it started out. Everyone's, I think, Charleston. So everyone's there.
Oh fuck yeah.
Every, everyone's in like the bar sitting down, and all of a sudden these two dudes come up and they plug in their laptop and they hit play and they're like, yo yo yo, what's up? And then like I just remember like I could see my mom out there and she was just and then immediately after we come up and we're like, hey guys, we're gonna play metal prog alt rock music and
Oh god, those shows are always so like fucking weird, but kind of cool at the same time. They're like cool, but also so awkward.
I love the inclusiveness of it.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good idea and concept. I
yeah,
think I just think whenever it's booked, it's never booked properly. Like, uh, way I feel is you always go with like the softer bands or softer
yes,
groups first, and then you get harder as the night goes on.
yes, 100%. I
And so,
Our second show as Visceral Embodiment was we opened, like someone dropped off this show. I think it was for it's for like a fuck, I'm forgetting the names of the bands. All I remember is that someone dropped off the beginning of the show and they asked us like 3 days before the show if we could play it, and we said yes. So we show up and like it was us first, so like Mellow Death, and then directly afterwards it was Closer to Clouds. Where I was like, who the fuck booked this? Like, I know we're the new guys. I know we're the new guys, and we don't deserve to be second. But like, the pacing is so off.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
That was so funny. We were just like, we played. We had no idea what any of these bands, except for like, we knew. Oh yeah, Vesuvian was also on that show. It was Vesuvian, us. Oh, it was. You know what? You know who also it was? It was I'm drawing a blank on their fucking name somehow. It was Scythe Gang's old band. I'm forgetting what their
Oh,
old band was called because Scythe Gang is such like a phenomenon now that like I'm forgetting what their old band was called. But forgive me guys, I'm so sorry. Fuck,
what was it called?
fuck.
I can't.
Yeah,
I
I don't
can't
remember, but
imagine.
it was Scythe Gang's old band, Vesuvian, Closer to the Clouds, us, and then like Empyrean, I think. And I was just like, we have no, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are we here? Mixed bill
I,
shows are sick, but you have to create it like a DJ playlist almost.
right. You gotta get the right level of dynamics going with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely remember there was one show at Funhouse where it was APF, then immediately went into Dallin and Silas, who were like a rap group at the time. And then I don't remember the dude's name. I mean, I thought it was cool, but he had like he brought up like it was just him. He had like 7 keyboards, and he was just like making like I guess like hallucinogen music. Like it was
Hell
just
yeah.
like just ambient sounds and everything. And I was like, hey, I'm vibing with it. And then immediately goes into like some straight up death metal band again. So I was just confused with the billing. I was like, who put this together?
Who the fuck? God,
I
yeah.
was like, Benny, did you do this? Goodness, Benny.
That would be a Benny billing. I love Benny's shows though are always so fucking fun. They're always so
Oh
fun.
yeah.
It's always a party when
But
Benny's booking shit.
you always get tossed into some pot, and you never know what's gonna come out of it.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's so interesting.
always a blast.
Yeah, 100%. Especially as the band, because you know it's just gonna be a fucking wild time.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
awesome. Mixed shows are so sick, but yeah, they take a lot of care. They're like a little baby. You have to be careful with it, because
Yeah,
otherwise
you
you're
gotta feed
gonna
it the right vitamins.
yeah, because otherwise you're gonna have somebody there for like most of the band or most of the crowd there for like the first two bands, and then them like leave immediately afterwards or some shit like that. So
Yeah, you can't. you can't give it too many carrots, or it's just going to turn orange. But
Exactly.
you can't give it some, broccoli and then immediately give it anthrax because it's not going to have a good time.
Exactly. You can't like give it like baby food and then directly afterwards be like, "All right, motherfucker, you're eating a T-bone steak. Get into this bitch." It's like one of
You gotta
my
let those seeds grow in.
one of my favorite shows. Like one of the last shows I saw was at it was like fuck, I think it was college radio, and then it was I think, and then yeah, no, it was college radio, and then it was Dirt Nap, and then or no, Join Ops, then Dirt Nap, then Two Clicks, and
Oh, okay.
it was pretty sick. Like it was actually cool seeing like Join Ops just being like, "Fuck it, we're gonna play this," because like they're a rap group, so but they were like,
Yeah.
"We're aware of what this is. We know what the fuck's going on. We're gonna play this. You guys are gonna vibe and then get right back to punching people in the fucking mouth. So let's just run it. Let's run it."
Absolutely. That's why, like, I can't remember whose. I think it was. Yeah, I can't remember whose house it was, but we in APF we did some like house shows out in like kind of towards Eastern Washington, and they were like outside, and I
Oh
remember
hell
just
yeah!
having a blast at those because they just got whatever friends they wanted to. So it'd be punk bands, it'd be rap groups, it'd be like
House shows
indie
are the
folk
fun.
bands.
House shows are the best, dude. There's nothing better than a house show, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
fucking love house shows. There was this great house venue. I hope they come back when the pandemic's over, but it was called the Hive, and
Mm.
they are the fucking best. I've seen like two shows there. One was it was like one of the shows was sick. It was like Prying Free, and then like another hardcore band, and then like a noisecore band, and then I
Oh,
think like an like punk band, and then something else. But like it was like a really interesting mix of like weird sounds and shit. It was super fucking
yeah.
sick. And I saw a folk punk show there too, and that was really awesome too. But like yeah, no, like I love house shows because it's just such a different vibe.
Yeah. It's always fun. I really wish Washington had more outdoor venues for
Yeah,
like
I
local
agree.
shows
I agree.
because I feel like especially in the summer, like Washington's such a beautiful state, and just being able to play outside is so much fun. Like
Yeah.
it'd just be a really good change of pace from the sweaty bars that have Simpsons pinball back there.
True. Yeah. It'd be a bit of a different vibe than Elko's warming piss smell. It. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wouldn't you love to just see like just see like a void or an as pillars fall just streaming to the heavens outside in the
Oh yeah.
evergreen forest?
Oh yeah. Like one of my favorite experiences speaking of the warming piss smell of Elko was my friend had really wanted to go to a show. She had never been to a show before, like a metal show, and she was like,
Mhm.
"I want to try it because I'm not really into the music, but you seem to really like it, and maybe I'll like it too." And I was like, "Okay." So I brought her to some like local like kind of metalcore show. I think it was mostly metalcore, and it was she walked into the venue and it was just like, "Oh yeah, I love Elko. Elko's great." And she was like, "Why does it smell like piss?" I'm like, "See, you don't get it. You don't get it. This is
That's
the smell
part
of
of the show.
this is the scent of home. This is a warm embrace."
The fragrance of victory.
This is the fragrance of 50 years of shitty punk shows that were $5. Like, oh god.
Oh, but that's so true though. It's so true.
It is. It is. One of my another one of my favorite shows actually was I went to this I went to a two click show. This is like back when Nick was doing bass and vocals, and it was a three
Mm.
piece. So this is back in the day, and they got put on some like punk bill that was like all like hardcore punk. It was all like 80s like Black Flag type punk, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it was just like, you know, two clicks, And so I was like, this is gonna be weird and interesting. And people were not happy with me because I was like pitting because it was a 2 click show, and like it was really funny because like half of the scene like all showed up right before 2 click set, and then half the scene fucking left right after two clicks.
Oh no.
So it was like a half, it was like a pretty big local show before 2 click set. Like it was probably like 50 to 100 people there because we have a pretty decent punk scene if you're into like kind of dad punk sort of stuff. And then right as 2 click set started, like fucking an extra like 50 to 100 just walked in, beat the shit out of each other and everyone around them, and then fucking left. It was so good. It was so fucking funny.
I remember, I don't know, the first thought that came to my mind as soon as you said back when Nick was playing bass, I remember we were seeing a show at Elko one time, and I don't even remember what band it was, but it was like a softer, it was kind of like melodic kind of band. I just remember sitting there just like, all right, yeah, just vibing. All of a sudden, Big Nick, you know, he walks towards me. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, here it comes. He grabs me, puts one hand on my shoulder, and he gets really close to my ear, and he's like, I hear you play bass. I'm like, yeah. 'Cause you want to play bass for 2 clicks? And I think this was like mid like APF to Fulton transition, so I was like, I'm kind of focusing on the Fulton thing. He's like, and he just gave like the big bear hug he does, and then just walked away.
He walked up to me right after Scourge fell apart, and he was like, hey, you want to sing for my band? And I was like, I would love to, but I would ruin your band. I would totally ruin it because you have a great stage presence. You need to be the one doing vocals, man. And he was just like, all right, I respect that. And just like, again, huge bear hug, walks away.
Yeah.
I was like, I love Nick. I love him so much.
It's like having your head in between like the alligator jaws when they're just sitting there with their mouth open, and you're like, this could end at any moment right now.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite moments of Nick being amazing was so our last show, I think it was Filth and Loser at whatchamacallit. How am I blanking on the name? Oh, the Funhouse. And I was standing towards the back, and he was checking IDs, and I had like forgotten that he was behind me because I was just like watching Loser, I think. Yeah. And I just felt like a big hand grab my head, and then a big fist just bonk. I was like, I just felt like the fucking earth shattered around me for a second. I just stared around, and he just like smiled at me and flipped me off, and so I just flipped him off back and like went back to watching the show. I was like, oh, I love that dude. That dude's awesome.
There's one thing I miss from seeing shows. It's that moment where you see either like the overhand fist or you see the kick coming from down below.
Oh
and
yeah.
Just everything in the pit just stops because there's the one person that just like DBZ flew across the room and is just like on the ground just unconscious, basically.
Oh yeah. One of my favorites is watching everybody clear the fuck out really quick when like Nick or Christian start throwing down because they just go hard as fuck. And so like it's so fun to watch. Like, or you know what's even funner is when one of the Elko staff like puts like a hoodie on that's not like Elko related, and they just go in the pit for 10 seconds, and like everyone clears out real fucking quick, and then they walk into the back of the crowd, take off the hoodie, and then go back to work. It's my favorite the moment of watching like the earth stand still for a second.
the like calm before the storm, because just like
fuck. It's my favorite thing ever. I love it. Yeah, man. God, I miss shows. I can't wait for them to come back.
I do too. I mean, if this has been a really good time for a lot of bands to do like recording and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. We're gonna get a lot of good music out of this.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting a lot of stuff done. They're just busting stuff out. But Yeah, there's just no feeling like playing a good show.
Yeah, exactly. Because like especially for hardcore, because it's all based around like the energy of being live and being in the room, and like it's all
Right,
based
right.
off that like energy exchange. Same with like kind of punk, and so it's like it's like listening to hardcore now. I just get sad because I'm like, oh, I want to see this live. Fuck.
Yeah, you're watching all the live stream videos at home and you're just
Oh, dude,
swinging
yeah.
at the.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, I remember. I think like last year, 156 Silence, which is one of my favorite bands, put out their album, and oh, God, it's so good. And I remember being like it was when I was at work, so it was like 1 in the morning. I was throwing like a grocery load onto a fucking shelf or some shit, and I was just like on like
Mhm.
aisle 7 throwing cereal, like just fucking like just fucking like go like just like teeming at the brim of just like fucking like wanting to hit something. And I was just like, I need to
just
vibe.
just swinging at all the old women, grabbing like their fruits and vegetables, just like.
can can you tell me where the rice is? I can tell you where to catch these hands. It's so fucking funny. So now that we've reached over an hour, Casey, thank you
Yeah.
for coming on the Wiretap. Where can people find you guys, find you on social media or your music or whatever?
Uh, our music's on pretty much everything. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all that. I mean, we really only have the one song right now, but you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and yeah, that's our goal's getting this album recorded and done. We're currently still working on it, and hopefully it'll be out around the end of the year. Fingers crossed. That's our goal.
Hell yeah, man. All right, well, go check them out. They're good shit. They're good proggy shit. If you like wacky time signatures and you like wacky shit, it's a great fucking time.
If
If
you like My Chemical Romance and Kanye West, then that's how we're setting that.
that'd be such an interesting, weird vibe. Oh my god, I kind of want that now. All right, hell yeah. Well,
Uh,
thank you everyone for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And I'll see everyone later.